speaking, it wasn't really hard to focus. I've been an underdog before, obviously not a huge underdog, but when you go back to the Jamel fight, world title fight, I was an underdog. When you go back to the Hector fight, I was an underdog. Very disrespectful underdog, honestly. So now when we get here to the Tank fight, it's just like, all right, here we go again. I feel like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up. So it wasn't really hard for me to focus because all I had to do was do what I normally do. And I know that that was gonna surprise or shock or shut everybody up.
That's exactly what happened. You know, he's in the ring in every one of his fights, and he's dominating. You know, after he picks up a few rounds, and then he starts dominating. This time he was just in there with a better man than him, and he kind of also lost it a little. You know, where he found a little bit of, you know, taking the knee and all that. It was because he was frustrated. There's no other question that's what happened. He was frustrated. He was in there with a better man, and you know that's what we got the fight. That's what we got.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the Lamont Roach and Tank Davis developing situation. We know the fight happened last weekend. We know it was a majority draw. There's been a lot of controversy since then. We know about round 9. I've been covering it on the channel all week. And more importantly, we know about Team Lamont Roach appealing the draw decision to the New York State Athletic Commission, wanting to get that draw overturned into a victory for Lamont Roach. Today, Roach sat down with the boys at ProBox. Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri, Coach Garcia is tuning in from afar. And if you want to watch the entire interview with Lamont Roach in studio, I have linked that in the description below. But in this video, you and we're going to go over Lamont Roach's perspective on round 9. We're going to go over Lamont Roach's perspective on his game plan and the mindset that he carried into the Tank Davis fight. We're also going to hear from Coach Garcia, and stay tuned to the end because you guys know online I took a lot of heat for saying that Tank did get hit with a combination which made him drop, but we know the Tank fans are saying that he took a knee because his braid was in his eye. You're going to hear Hall of Fame boxer Antonio Tarver give you his breakdown. Stay tuned to the end. Let's get started. All right, guys, together what we're going to do is first, let's start this off with listening to Lamont Roach talk a little bit about what the trash talk was like in fight. We saw them talking the entire time. You saw them going back and forth. This is a segment of Lamont Roach telling us what they were talking about. Here we go.
He was like, if I hit him with a little jab or whatever the case, oh, that ain't nothing. Or if he hit me, or if I block a shot, I was like, oh, too slow. Or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Like, I'm like, it's okay.
Steve, though? What was he saying to the referee?
When I said to Steve?
No, what was he saying? He was
talking to the refs the whole time too. Yeah.
Oh, so all right. So one time, when I hit him on the break, he was like, "Get out of there." He said, "Stop holding." As soon as he said, "Stop holding," I punched him. So he's like, "How you gonna tell him? How you gonna tell me to stop holding and let him punch me or something like that?" Steve said, "Fight out of the clinch."
Yeah.
That's what we were gonna do. He came in the back and was like, "I'm gonna let you fight out, especially if one arm is loose or whatever the case may be, as long as you're not holding and hitting." So when he did say, he said, "Get out of there," he got out of there without his hand up, and I punched.
Let's press pause there, guys. I was asked today and over this past week what I feel a rematch would look like, and I was telling people, and the more I think about it, I feel that Lamont Roach does better in the rematch for one of these exact reasons he's talking about. I feel that we have never seen Tank Davis get mentally frustrated in a fight. We've never seen him look uncomfortable in a fight. And I tell you what, that knee was an outcome, him feeling uncomfortable. Yes, he had a couple punches landed. They weren't flush punches. The jab scratched the eye. He takes the knee. He then goes to the corner. We saw the beef he had in the corner with Calvin. And throughout the fight, especially mid-rounds to late rounds, Lamont's game plan was, don't let the bully you, don't exit, and catch and shoot. And this is one of the reasons that we saw Tank Davis's power be non-existent. He did land. It was a good fight for both guys. This was a very close fight. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, why did we see Tank Davis go from a knockout artist to a guy who couldn't knock out a 130-pound fighter? Because Lamont Roach's game plan was so solid in how he kept his offense so tight. He wouldn't let loose. He wouldn't get out of pocket or get caught on his lead leg, and he wouldn't give Tank an opportunity to counter him. But more importantly, every time Tank threw something, Lamont, my boxing coach, used to say, give him some change back. Lamont gave Tank some change back. And because of this, Tank wasn't able to sit down on his power shots. That totally negated the worry in Roach's head of getting knocked out. Once he realized what was happening when he was getting hit, and he realized that's exactly what was going on, he knew he was safe in that pocket, and he stayed there. His catch and shoot, his game plan to get into the mind and challenge the bully was brilliant. And for him to execute that with all the bright lights was brilliant. Let's now continue this with Lamont's perspective on what happened in round 9. You guys know Tank takes a knee. Steve Willis, the ref, doesn't deduct a point. He starts the count. Let's hear Lamont talk about this.
The knockdown that wasn't in round number 9, Gervonta Davis takes a knee, you landed a right hand, then 2 jabs afterward. What were you thinking when this happened? Were you surprised as everybody else? What was on your mind?
Man, I was surprised, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like I thought it was a 10-8. Like
Yeah.
that's what really was going on. Like, but like I was confused when he looked at the ref, but when he took the knee, I was like, and I grasped the concept that he was on the ground. I was like, that's a 10-8. Yeah. Simple. So I was like, all right, the ref started counting. While I'm looking at him, I'm like, the ref started counting. But I see him get up and go to the corner. So now I'm just like, all right, now I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
Did you think he was stopping the fight? He had a towel in his hand.
To me, I didn't think he was stopping the fight because I was so focused on the ref counting. Like I didn't think he was stopping the fight. But then again, like when I look at him in the corner, I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't know. I don't know now. I just don't know what's going on. Besides the fact that I want this to be a knockdown because it
was a knockdown, clearly. He got hit with a right hand, bothered one eye, and a jab bothered the other eye. And he took a knee. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what happened.
And this is exactly what I said in my Instagram video that the Tank fans have been attacking me on. It's exactly my narrative been all week. I broke it down slow motion. I showed you guys the sequences. So if you're a Tank Davis fan and you're watching this, it wasn't a braid. It wasn't grease like Tank said. You guys are listening to Mr. Suspicious, Prince Fiorentino, saying that Tank doesn't know what he's talking about, even though Tank said it was grease. Tank was in the moment. It was really his braid because I have braids. What Prince said, that guy's a fool. That's not what happened. And this is what Lamont said. This is what Lamont's coaches said. This is what everybody in the know has said. Tank took a knee because he got bothered by a scraping jab, blurred his eye, and he took a knee. He had never had to overcome adversity before in a fight. When have we seen him have to come back from sort of adversity mid-exchange? There are no timeouts in boxing. You take a knee, 10-8 count. The ref Willis stops counting is chaos. Now let's listen to Coach Garcia talk a little bit about the multiple occasions in this fight, which should have been deemed either a point deduction or a disqualification, which would have then resulted in a championship at 135, a 2-division world champion for Lamont Roach.
Look, there was three different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification.
Yeah.
There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands.
100% Lamont Roach. The more we dissect this fight, the more we dissect what should have happened, what could have happened, and what actually happened, the more I feel bad for Lamont Roach. He shocked me, guys. He fought way better than I thought he would fight. I picked Tank to win. I'm not hating on Tank. Tank fought well. He had to show his gumption. He had to show the heart of a warrior, but he made mistakes in this fight, and I don't think he was expecting, I don't think I was expecting, I don't think any of the fans were expecting Lamont Roach to be that mentally resilient, to have a high fight IQ like he had, and to just be a dog. Because at the end of the day, I think if you had 2 dogs in the backyard, Lamont Roach was the bigger dog than Tank Davis was. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with this. This is the perspective of a Hall of Fame world champion boxer, not my perspective, but he states the same exact thing that I stated after the fight. Antonio Tarver just posted this 3 days ago. Listen to what he has to say.
Just taking a look back at the shot, man, that wasn't called. It looks like Lamont Roach, man, threw a flicking jab, and it grazed, you can see right there. He grazed the eyeball or scratched his eyeball in the midst of the fight, you know what I mean? in the midst of the fight. It should have been called a knockdown. We know if you take a knee, that's an automatic knockdown. But when you go to the corner, turn your back, and then your corner man come on the steps with the white towel, that's automatic, pretty much disqualification by the rules. By the rules.
All right, guys, on that, I wish you a good day. Stay tuned to the channel. We got a lot of stuff happening this March. There's still a lot of fights to be had. I gave you guys the fight schedule yesterday, and I'll be releasing more and more stats don't lie videos breaking down the fighters. If you didn't catch the Keith Thurman versus Brock Jarvis stats don't lie, stay tuned to the channel because it's coming up right now.